Gervonta Davis says he'll KO Ternce Crawford like Ryan Garcia. Eddie Hearn changes his pick. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Gervonta Davis recently gave an interview, I believe it was to FightHype TV over on the Tube. Go check them out, man. But he gave an interview and he spoke about fantasy fights, basically. And one in particular. You know, we all know that he has the fight coming up with Ryan Garcia. And it's very interesting the name he chose to call out, per se. And it's a big name. And it's a surprising name, I'm sure, to some people. But we all know about the Ryan Garcia fight, and the interesting thing about Ryan Garcia is that recently it was brought to light about the catchweight and the rehydration, and the fact that Ryan Garcia has the ability to rehydrate past 147, past welterweight, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think he would balloon up that far, but apparently he can balloon up that far. So, with all that being said and all that being revealed, Gervonta Davis gave an interesting take on a fantasy fight between him and Terence Crawford. Now, he has some things to say about Crawford, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents on those things that he said. So, basically, he said that he feels like if him and Terence Crawford were to fight, it would be an interesting fight, but he would most likely tap Crawford's chin, and it would be an early night. A matter of fact, he said it probably wouldn't go past the 6th round. And I think that's very interesting. It's very confident on the accord of Gervonta Davis. And do I believe it? Do I think that Davis could actually pull that off? Being that Ryan Garcia is able to balloon past 147, I think once we get this fight, you'll have a full understanding of Gervonta Davis's complete capabilities, especially since they're going to allow Ryan Garcia and Gervonta to rehydrate up to around welterweight, 146 to be exact, basically welterweight. So when both of those guys come into the ring on fight night, you're basically going to be seeing a welterweight fight. It's just being paraded as a 135 fight, but it's really a welterweight fight because of the rehydration. So, I mean, if he's able to knock Ryan Garcia out within 6 rounds, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, then I would say he has a shot, of doing the same thing to Terence Crawford. Now, I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, well, Ryan Garcia isn't on Terence Crawford's level. Ryan Garcia doesn't have those type of boxing skills. Ryan Garcia has never been a undisputed champion. He's never been a champion at 147. So how could you say that Gervonta would have that type of success against Crawford when he has never faced the type of competition that, basically Crawford possesses? Crawford possesses very good boxing skills. So how could you compare Ryan Garcia to a Terence Crawford? I don't think you can compare Ryan to Crawford, but I think it's just a similarity in body types. So if he's able to, accomplish that against a bigger, stronger fighter, I would assume that he would be able to pull off something similar against Terence Crawford. Not only that, I would think that he would be able to take some of those punches up there. So, I think that would be a good sign. I think the key to victory, if that fight was to ever happen, now would it ever happen? I'll get into that in a second. But the key to victory for Gervonta Davis would be, I think, movement. If he can stay away from Terence Crawford and keep Crawford from throwing combos, keep him on the move, I think he can beat Crawford. I think he could probably knock him out. I wasn't too impressed with the David Van Zandt performance. I don't think Terence Crawford did anything really special in that fight. But he won, and it just seemed like if Vanzian had a little more boxing skills, a little more foot movement, a little more hand speed, he could have probably gave Terence Crawford some trouble. Gervonta Davis is a whole different animal. If you put Gervonta Davis in there, I think as long as he can keep his feet moving and can work off his jab and can land some shots here and there, it don't have to be bombing shots all the time. But, Pop shot him out with strong punches every now and then. I would have to agree. I think he could give Terence Crawford a run for his money. We all know that Terence Crawford isn't the biggest welterweight, and, he had better success down at 140 than he did at 147. So, assuming that 140 is his natural strong point, I would say that 140 is probably Gervonta Davis's natural strong point too. He's just really good at 135. So if you moved him up, he could be the biggest competitor with Terence Crawford. I would have to throw Josh Taylor's name in there as well, because I think Josh Taylor has the same ability. But maybe one day we'll get a fight, or a couple of fights between that trio. Crawford, Taylor, and Gervonta Davis. I think that'd be exciting to see. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Is Gervonta Davis being truthful? Could he knock Terence Bud Crawford out within 6 rounds? Or is he just blowing smoke? Alright, to finish up here, Eddie Hearn gave his prediction on the Gervonta Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. And if you remember back a couple months ago, he had already given a prediction where he said he felt like Gervonta Davis might be a little bit too much for Ryan Garcia. The power, the ring IQ, the good speed that Davis has, the distance, all the things that Gervonta Davis brings to the ring. He felt like Davis would get Ryan Garcia. But recently, Eddie Hearn changed his prediction from Gervonta Davis to now Ryan Garcia. He's saying that he feels like the hand speed of Ryan Garcia is going to give Gervonta Davis a lot of trouble. He feels like Hector Garcia was able to land some good punches and do some good things with speed, hand speed to be exact. And he thinks that Ryan Garcia possesses better skill sets than Hector Garcia. So he feels like that's going to be a determining factor in this fight. I think everybody feels like speed is going to be a determining factor within the Gervonta Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. And I would agree that hand speed is going to be a serious factor. But if you watch Ryan Garcia train, and you watch him work on the speed bag, the mitts, all that stuff, everything he does is very stationary. And I don't think a lot of people bring that up. You don't see him moving around throwing those seriously fast combinations. You always see him stationary, throwing combos. So keep that part in mind. We're going to talk about that in a later video. Y'all hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are man.
Don't trip, I got what you need. Fast or slow, girl, what's your speed? You handcuffed, I set you free. You a bad chick, I must say. Come with me, girl, right away. She want a double stack, no cheese, meaning other than the pill, I can get it for free. No fee, thick as MUD. OMG, LOL, SMH. You come with me, then you'll be straight. I don't give a damn, let them other niggas hate. Turn around, let me concentrate, yeah, they don't trip, I got what you need. 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 Damn, you cold and so's your friend, but she say they don't like me. Please don't don't act like